Good morning, students. So we have successfully completed Unit 1. So Unit 1 we have completely discussed on XML and related technologies. Based on XML, today we will launch you an assignment. So complete it and update the same. So you have to write it in a A4 sheet, take photograph and upload it. Don't forget to write your name and roll number along with this section. Okay, along with the section, because we have the common upload environment for all the three sections. So these three things important. Write your name along with the roll number and the section name. So by afternoon, if you check, you will have an assignment. Further, how this service oriented architecture was emerged, what made the people to look into the, or what made it to emerge. So what, when, how, why. Before studying any concept, if we raise these four tags, automatically we will get the foundation of the corresponding subject. That's it. So today we will try to answer all these questions. Starting with that. So this is what I have planned. It's session 1, but I have split it into various sections. Probably we will travel for at least 2 to 3 days using these slides. We have a lot of things to know about why this service oriented architecture was emerged. Before that, what type of architectures are available? Why industry have migrated from the old architecture towards the service oriented architecture? So what are all the merits and demerits of the previous architectures? What is the coining or formation of the SOA? All those things we are going to discuss in a detailed fashion. Okay, and understand that this is not mere the theory. Already you have seen a complete demonstration on XML. Try to map whenever we are going to migrate to SOA, the role of XML will be there. Okay, so what made the previous architecture to be hard, how it can be done in a lightweight way by using XML. So that has to be mapped from your end. Okay, since already we have studied XML related technologies. As well as we are introducing the term web service. Okay, so web service in internet programming lab might be you have executed a web service, a Java web service, or a .NET web service might be you have executed. Okay, so service will be available. My job is only to pass parameters. Service will return back me the result. For example, for addition of two numbers, I will write a service. The service will be available in the server. My job is to pass only two arguments. I will pass from a HTML page. It will go to the corresponding web service. It will work out. It will process. It will send me back the result. So who are all the people involved in this communication? All those things also we are going to study detailedly on the current unit as well as in the forthcoming unit also. Okay, so these are all the things that we are going to discuss on in this complete unit. Service orientation. So we must know what is a software architecture style. Might be you have come across a paper, right? Software architecture. Even IT students, they have also come across this paper. What is a software architecture style? Okay. So it is ready to provide a pattern how it is structurally organized. That's what my architectural style. How my systems are readily formed. Do I need to find out the way of organizing those systems? So that's what we are ready to work with that. So, and also they have given in bold just to see that components and connectors, the constraints on how they can be combined. Okay, components and connectors. Components means source and destination, how they are being connected, what is the thing. For example, Java and Oracle, how they have connected using JDBC. Okay, so what are all the constraints for JDBC that we might know, right? So that's what the software architecture say, because we have two-tier architecture, three-tier architecture, n-tier architecture, right? So for those type of things, what are all the things that primarily? So we will be concentrating with the presentation tier, data tier, middle tier. So likewise, we have seen different types of layers in the architecture. Okay, this was repeatedly available in our practice. So some of the popular styles which are available in our software architecture. One is resource oriented. Second one is object oriented. When we move for software engineering, you could able to find 5 types of architectures. Okay, call and return, function based. Likewise, you have 5 types of architectures will be available. But these two things are specifically focused means that we are ready to relate with the emergence of SOA pertaining to these styles. So that is the reason why it had been taken. Okay, so we have mentioned the authors from where we have talked about these two titles: resource oriented architectures and object oriented architectures. Please refer this context to learn further on individual architectures. Okay, so from that context only, we have taken some of the points to discuss in this lecture. So there are two styles: resource oriented and object oriented. So resource oriented architecture, so what it will do? Okay, so it will involve retrieving particular resource instances. Okay, so it's like nothing but that I could have some server. See, they are using a HTTP GET request. Through that, the content available in the presentation tier, it may be a JSP or it may be a servlet or it may be ASP. Okay, from Microsoft technology, Microsoft services. So from that, it is ready to connect with the database. That's what they have given. Using SQL command, we are going to retrieve the content. So how they are being retrieved? Based upon the address that it is ready to connect with the database server. Okay, from database server or the corresponding URL. So it will retrieve the data. So the data will be stored in a tuple. Finally, that tuple will be iterated in our client side validation. Finally, it will display everything. Okay, but what could be the drawback over on that? So this parameters encoding will be something tough one when we are going to work with complex queries. For example, I am going to use a correlated subquery or I am going to use a nested subquery. In that, loading, execution, and evaluation, all those things will take some more time. So complexity will increase. So that's the point that they want to ready to convey. Okay, as well as the point that what we have discussed while we are learning about Ajax, only the web UI updates will be taken care by client side validation. At the same time, data only reloaded, not the entire content of the page. So in that case, data only reloaded means data processing must be made it to be a lesser complex one. If it is going to be a complete complexity, then again the state of art introducing Ajax is going to be a drawback of us. Okay, so that is the reason why these resource-oriented architectures, resource represents that could be my presentation tier, data tier, and other middle tiers. Okay, example for resources are going to be a database server, a application server. Okay, so these are all going to be my resource. So retrieving data from the resource could be in a based upon in a layer based one. That's what they want to convey here. Okay. So second phase of that ROA. So we are ready to create a resource that could be a plug and play device. Okay, whenever we need that, we could able to plug and fetch the data. So always centralized data will be available in the server. That's what they want to stress. Centralized data will be available in the server. So might be when you are going to execute search, a search in the Google search engine, already if you have accessed your web page, just you click over on the link and write and see, you could able to see a term called catched. Okay, you could able to find out. Okay, so that can be identified with some limited time that you could able to use it in your particular search. So once the time is going to expire, ultimately that link will not be available when you are going to search next time. Again, it will be refreshed in the it might be available in the first page or second page, depending upon the ranking and accessibility of the corresponding page. So that's the idea behind this. As well as updates to the resources, so completely involving or replacing with the new copy. Okay, so partial updates and all those things will happen based upon the methods. So we have the get, put, post. Okay, so all these methods will ready to rely on our servers only. That's what again I'll be telling. It is purely based upon resources only. Okay, so previous copy of the data that is going to be replaced with the new copy of data. Okay, so that's the convention that we want to convey. Even though we are using the term catched, this will happen. So what are all the variations that involve in this resource oriented architecture? Okay, so distributed resource copies, that's what we have studied in distributed systems. Maybe you have come across the term horizontal partitioning and vertical partitioning. Okay, so that will create only these resource copies. So depending upon my request data query, the contents will be available in all the places, and also it might need to synchronize among themselves. Okay, so whenever I am going to update one particular fragment, it must be reflected in all other fragments too. So that's what the distributed resource copies could be a major one when we are going to work with the resource oriented architecture. Okay, so synchronization is very, very important when we are going to work with the distributed resource copies. Right, so this is what we have come across till now. Next, object orientation. So object oriented contents. So what we are going to do with that? Here also we are going to access the resources, but we are not going to access the resources. Here we are going to communicate with the resources using objects. How it is possible? I will take an object for the server. I will take an object for the client. Objects of server and client will communicate, or objects of both the peers will communicate. Okay, so in that case, what could be the main idea? Message communication is the basic object oriented concept used in this style. Okay, message communication. Probably you might not come across this message communication in your programming environment in a detailed way. People will be very familiar with the class, object, inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, data binding, data abstraction. So up to that end, people will be very good. But what about this message communication? Okay, when two objects are ready to communicate, that means they are going to exchange. They will be served as a parameter passing mechanism. So in that case, the lightweight communication will happen between source and destination. It may be a client and server, or it may be a peer-to-peer. It will applicable for both the type of architectures. Okay, so for that only they are ready to introduce these architectures. These are very old architectures, but not in practice. But we could able to access in a way such that there we have that tiers. So that's what you are having CORBA, Common Object Request Broker Architecture. Okay, so they will be using that IIOP. IIOP is a protocol. Okay, that they will be using it for one communication. RMI, Remote Method Invocation. Okay, Remote Method Invocation. So using remote method invocation, I could able to communicate with the programs. So that is the first stage where people are introducing to keep the business logic in the separate node. By the orientation of RMI only, EJB was emerged. Okay, so my business logic will be available in a particular page that will be known to the client and server. That will be known by the client and server. So if I want to execute the RMI program, I will write 4 programs. There is a client program, there is a server program, there is a program that will declare the signature of the method. Fourth one, the implementation of the corresponding method will be available in a separate program. So even the part of security also, this will play a vital role. So client and server will know what was implemented in the corresponding signature. That is the idea on the RMI technology. But what made it a drawback? So client could be able to compromise and get the logic of it. So to overcome that only, people have come across EJB, right? Enterprise Java Beans. In Enterprise Java Beans, what they have mentioned, business logic will be available somewhere else. Even client and server don't know where it resides, right? It's your job to pass the objects. Objects will take care of the communication and they will give you the result. That's it. Okay. When we come for web service, even these objects won't have any role. Simple thing is variables values will be passed to the service. Service will perform its work and it will return the result. That's all. So even you don't know, even you don't have the role of this object. Okay, so that's the reason why that people are introducing these things here. And communication could be completely based upon the patterns. So they could able to find out. So what could be the architecture that you are following, as well as how you are retrieving the data. People could be able to find out the pattern, like what the example that I have conveyed for RMI. So in that case, it is very easy for me to retrieve the or intercept the transaction. So that is the what people are ready to convey, right? So DCOM is from Microsoft technology. Okay, distributed component object model. That's purely written in C++. Okay, so in that case, what will happen that we will be completely working with non-internet friendly protocols. Okay, not internet friendly protocols, because these are all completely ready to work with my LAN. So that's what that's the reason why client could be able to identify the business logic, means it is ready to communicate. Please understand that it is ready to communicate with the corresponding server objects. So that is the reason why non-internet friendly protocols. Okay, so pass by reference, that's what call by reference. Pass by facilities for all non-built-in types. So that's also people will be conveying. Marshalling, that's a very good term that when we are going to learn about, we will be using the term typecasting in the variable level. When we are going to work with the object level, we have to use the term marshalling. Okay, so marshalling is the term that we are ready to work with typecasting the objects. So even the parameters what we are passing, that must know its type of data. That is the reason why people are introducing this marshalling. See, now you could able to understand. Try to combine your XML here. So XML knows what is the value which is available within their tag. Semantic meaning, that's what XML is ready to provide over on that. Because in marshalling, every time the typecasting is mandatory on every communication. For example, you are accessing your anonymous result from your mobile client. So every time when it is going to retrieve, so register number belongs to the data type. It's a string, because we will be having some captions also along with that. So I will be retrieving all the subject marks. Okay, if it is a grade, it will be a character. Okay, or it will be a string. For example, even I may get UA. Okay, that will be a string. I will be getting the student name. That will be a string. Okay, so I will be getting the status, pass, fail. So that is also a string. So if 1,000 students are going to communicate, all the 1,000 times that the process of marshalling will take place. Okay, the process of marshalling will take place. So that will be a complete tedious one over here, but that can be retrieved using that can be replaced using our XML. That's what the next level of service orientation, that what we are going to talk about. Okay, so that's what is the issue with these legacy styles. That's what we are going to see even in the diagram that what I'm going to show you. That also available in the next forthcoming slides. We'll talk about what is this legacy styles. Completely, it's tight coupling, right? Java with Oracle, it's a complete tight coupling one, right? Java, JDBC, the database server, everything will be linked in a fashion. If any one of the thing is not going to work, ultimately the complete transaction will not happen. If I want to replace what I have to replace, I need to replicate a server for DB if DB is going to malfunction. If a connector is not going to work, I have to install the connector again, right? So everything is going to happen in the static passage. So that's the major drawback, that what we are going to talk about, the term tight coupling. Okay. So as well as they are not adaptive. That's the main thing. Okay. So for that they are mentioning that Corba D version 2. So that's a exception, that how much has been used. That's what. So when we are going to access any type of unknown exception, anyway we will be writing exception handling mechanism. When unknown exceptions are going to thrown, I could not be able to show a proper message towards the people, right? So once in Indian Railways, they got a message. So when people are going to book, amount will be debited. Okay, ticket will not be booked. Ticket will not be booked. But the thing is, the same way for the clerical end or for the server end, it will be shown that the ticket is blocked by someone. So ultimately, it will end in a lock fashion, that even railway could not be able to release that lock because it will be blocked by some particular passenger. Passenger also have not received any confirmation such that ticket has not been booked, but amount is also debited. So now what he will do? He will put a message towards the railway center customer care. So what they will verify? Your ticket has been blocked. There are some technical issues. Wait for 3 days. So within 3 days, if the amount is being revised, that the corresponding ticket will be not booked. Otherwise, the booked ticket will be mailed towards you. Likewise, they will close that issue. But ultimately, that issue is going to map with this drawback only. It's not adaptive. That's the main thing. Because of this, unknown exceptions could not be able to be handled. Unknown exceptions, right? Known exceptions can be handled. What about unknown exception? So that could not be understood by both the parties, source and destination. Again, a lot of redundancies will be there. So that's a major thing. So reusability of resources also going to be reduced. We are going for object orientation for the concept of reusability only. But what is the role of the reusability, right? So that's also a very big question mark. I have created a complete software for reservation system. The reservation system is going to be modified for airlines. The reservation system is going to be modified for railways. The reservation system is going to be modified for bus ticket booking. So in that case, we have some sort of orientation need to be involved. But exception handling mechanism, that what I am going to adapt to for airlines reservation booking could be something different. For railways reservation booking, something to be different. For bus reservations, that could be something different, right? In payment gateways, things will be common. But when I'm going to work with any other sort of the services, that what the website or web application going to provide before the payment is completely different. So in that cases, I need to rewrite again such a type of exception handling mechanisms. So ultimately, what we are talking about, what we are ready to move for service window architectures, everything will be available tailor-made. What is your job? Just plug in, play and work. That's it. That's what service-oriented architecture is ready to retrieve. So these are all the issues that people are ready to raise in the legacy styles. That's what finally, that is going to be the complete proprietary software that could not be able to operate with the other system. That's what the term closed is, right? You could be able to see JDBC is more flexible for any types of communication happening between presentation tier and data tier, right? So, but when we are going for DNS, domain name system, okay, so I could be able to work only with the local environment. That's also being, it is ready to work only in Windows service. It will not work in other services. So please remember that. So that could be the major point that people are focusing with the legacy systems, right? And also already we have seen we could not be able to provide the level of abstraction because I could be able to find out. Example is RMI. I could be able to find out that what is the application that what I am ready to work on. That people could be able to trace my business logic. So that's the term, level of IT abstraction is inadequate. Okay, so that's the thing that already we have discussed. So resource-oriented architecture style, object-oriented architecture style. In resource oriented, it is completely more or less resource oriented. People are communicating using our formal methodologies, call by value or call by reference. When we are coming for object oriented, people are communicating using message communication. Okay, uh, this is the thing that people have experienced. Even the second point that what I want to convey there is exceptional handling will be completely nil in resource oriented. But when we are going to work with object oriented, we have some mechanisms for known exceptions. Okay, that is the second criteria. So that's what the thing that I need to convey. But when we are going to SOA, they are going to offer everything as a service. That means development environment, that will be a service. Developed code, that will be a service. Database server, that is a service. Okay, platform, what you need to work, that will be available as a service, right? So this makes the cloud computing a cushion. Okay, what made a cloud computing cushion? Nothing but our service oriented architecture only. Okay, so now no need to write a program to add two numbers. Addition service will be available, right? Just to plug it with your code and plug it with your ready-made application and you start to work. That's all. Now no need to design a website. Okay, godaddy.com, there is a website. They are ready to give you the template. Just to change the content. Even if you want to change the content, pay them the service amount. That's all. They will change them. They will launch the website. They will give you the URL. Just to type it, your website will be ready. Right? No need to maintain nothing. No need to do that. If you want to change anything, for example, you have launched a website for some online shopping for groceries. So in that case, you want to change the rates of rice and other dals on day by day basis. So in that case, just to send them through a WhatsApp message that change these values. That's all. They will change it automatically. Everything available in the cloud. So you need to upgrade to some other technology. They will take care of everything. Okay. So that's what everything could be based upon style and service. Okay. So they will ready to deliver. Everything could be treated as a service. Okay, the best service that what we are receiving nowadays for food, Swiggy, right? That is also a part of our service oriented architecture only, right? So most of the service oriented architectures are yielding very good revenues nowadays. Even these things that we have discussed, we have seen these textbooks during while we are doing our engineering in 1999, right? During the period itself, we have seen these books. But even though it took time, hardly it took around 7 to 8 years to reach the market, because the not only the software or platform must be ready to make it to roll out. We need we need the corresponding infrastructure also. That is the thing will major to lend it out, right? Nowadays, Amazon is making it to reach this SOA in a through reaching its services through this SOA in a completely yeah, what do you call? I could be able to tell in a disastrous way. So everyone is ready to access. Okay, they are providing service as well as using their service. They have their own websites, right? That much in a leveraged way they are running this complete pattern. Okay, so SOA is also an architectural style completely. So services can be used as well as it can be reused. I could be able to build an applications. Applications communicate between themselves. The applications which are running over on the respective platforms of that particular enterprise that could be able to create a supply chain management, a chain of applications. For example, Big Bazaar, this is the outlet across India. So all these Big Bazaar applications could be able to combine towards the owner in a single dashboard. That is enough. Across India, what is the collection today? Across Tamil Nadu, which is the most sold out entity in grocery, most sold out particular electronic appliance, right? So across India, which retail outlet have had made a very less business. Okay, so which retail outlet had done a very good business. So likewise, I could be able to fetch everything through a single dashboard. So such a interesting things could able to done in a easier way. That is the idea on this. So all open standards are being used in SOA, nothing proprietary standards. Okay, I'm not using anything, what do you call, paid services. I am not used to build this SOA, right? But using SOA, you can build and you can go for paid. That's what people are doing nowadays. Okay, so complete service management platform has been built using open standards only. Okay, so ultimately services can communicate with each other. Okay, as well as the flow of data from one service to other service can be easily traceable. So that's also possible. So services can be reused by other applications also. So for that, just if you have developed it, you could be able to get the amount for us. That's all. For example, you have created a weather service. The weather service is going to be used by some other website. So in that case, they will pay you the corresponding loyalty. That's all. And this could be the framework of SOA. Right? Client will search for what is the service they need. They will find out the service. Service provider will identify the client. What is the appropriate service for him? What is the appropriate service for him? That is the term that we'll be using here. Provider will have a broker, resource broker. So he will identify the corresponding service which is apt for the client. Maybe it depends upon your budget, depends upon your infrastructure, what could be the exact service that is ready for you. So that could be adapted towards the client based upon a hourly basis, monthly basis, or yearly basis, or some contract leasing. Everything is possible through our service provider. Okay. So as well as if you are going to develop and give you a new service, they will verify whether your service will play a vital role in the market, that whether your service will do a very good business in the market. By observing and analyzing that, they will push their service into their discovery services. Okay, so they're like in yellow pages, they will have a list of services by categorizing. Okay, in justdial.com, if you go and see, you could be able to find out list of services. Say if you go for repairs, you could be able to finding out starting from bicycle to till your BMW. You could be able to find out list of people, right? So here, likewise, only here list of services will be available for you to work with, right? So this basic framework will adapt everyone. That's the idea. Not only customers, not only users, even programmers and developers also, even the enterprise also, all the stakeholders will be available in a known way, right? I could be able to find out who is using my service. Okay, so which customer is using this service regularly, I could be able to find out. Everything is transparent, so that could be identified towards them, right? So that's the basic SOA framework. But when you go for a resource oriented, if I need to access a database, I need a username and password, right? Ultimately, if I need to access the application server, ultimately I need some dual signature. Yes, ultimately. Okay, so otherwise, if I need to access my internet banking, which is available in a foreign bank, for example, Swiss Bank, for that they will supply us a OTP generator that will communicate via satellite. Everything is going to be a transparent one when we are going to come with the SOA. Ultimately, the security standards available in SOA that we will discuss in Unit 4. So what are all the security layer and framework that is being available when service to service communication is going to happen, when user to service communication is going to happen, when enterprise to service communication is going to happen, during maintenance of services, what is going to happen? Everything service oriented, security also being projected in this framework, right? Such a lightweight framework. Suppose you want to down your service, in the place of your service, you can replace another service. So till the time customer no need to wait. So the service is down today, so no need to use that. See, nowadays if you check that, some websites will mention that the site will go down for this time to this time. You can't find nowadays the type of terminology, because even those timings also, we have some other websites or mirrored websites will ready to work as a default one, right? Optional one for that. So that much interesting content that we are having pertaining to this SOA. Right, so it's a simple service that they have demonstrated here. Okay, so based upon your the previous diagram, right? So you can assume that this could be a state diagram. So for that they have drawn this. Okay, so first the green color one, the developer or programmer or an enterprise have published a service in the registry. Registry is nothing but your yellow pages. Assume that. Okay, so client is accessing for some services. So what he will do or she will do, they will look up in the register in the yellow pages. Okay, I am searching for some service that it will predict whether tomorrow rain will come or not. Okay, so that could be a basic service. Or what could be the temperature tomorrow, if it is sunny or some other thing. So ultimately they are ready to work for some sort of weather service. Okay, so what they will do, they will go and convey their requirements. If they could not be able to find out what they will do, they will post a request towards the corresponding service providing peers. Okay, they are providing a request. So the request will be analyzed by the service providing peers. So understanding the requirements of the client, the service provider will fetch a proper and suitable service from the registry and give it to the client. Okay, so that's the complete process, that when a service is being requested by a client, how it is going to be used. Okay, how it is going to be retrieved. Okay, starting from the publishing till it is going to reach the client. So that's the idea. Right. Again, we want to stress it upon, because this term you have come across in your cloud computing in a detailed way, but again, we could able to work with that again. So service, generally, in the software point of view, what is a service? It could be a reusable component, right? Otherwise, I could able to convey it as a off-the-shelf component, OFF, off-the-shelf component. Okay, so whenever I need, I will take the component from the shelf, I will use it, and I will keep it over there. That's all. That's what off-the-shelf component. So that's what a service also is going to be. So whenever I need, I will use it and I will keep it on the shelf. So as well as you can request a service in your normal language. No need to go for any commands. That's the main thing, right? It is completely, even a novices could be able to access. Check with the chatbot. Through chatbot, people started accessing services. They won't go and talk a lot. Okay, so for example, if I think recently I could be able to come across a chatbot being supplied by City Union Bank. So what they have mentioned, I will simply convey a balance. That's all. That's my service request. Immediately it will convey my cash balance available in this. So likewise, I will simply convey loan due. That's all. So what is the loan due available in my corresponding? I will simply say loan due. For example, I may have jewel loan, I may have a vehicle loan, I may have a home loan. So it will give everything towards me. Simply the term loan due. Okay. So as simple as that, you can able to give a request to have a service. So that's what we have come across. As well as you could be able to see, using this service, people have now, by the emergence or by the complete occupancy of this artificial intelligence, people is ready to provide, or enterprise is ready to provide a quality service. Okay, or a quality, what do you call it? Such a type of thing. For example, they will advise you, don't invest in this stock today, because after 3 days the stock value will go down. For example, you are having a service which is ready to give you some suggestions on in which stock you could be able to invest today, which stock you could be able to invest tomorrow. So likewise, they will predict and they will convey you that what you can focus today. For example, you are ready to invest in a stock today, but after suppose based upon their past history, as well as based upon their investments in the last 15 days, based upon their history in the last 3 years or 4 years, by that they will come across and come to a conclusion that this will work well, invest it. For example, compared to this investment, if you are going to invest in that stock A instead of stock B, that you will get more revenue. right? For example, today by 5 o'clock, the thing is going to stock market is going to close. By 4:45, immediately an SMS will come from you from the service stating that today the stock is going to end with a high rate. Before that, you try to sell. So ultimately, you could able to sell because it will project after 1 year. If you are going, if you have a plan that you are going to withdraw and use it for some other purpose, the value that what you are going to withdraw after 1 year, that will be very lesser compared to the thing that what you are going to get today, means ultimately you are ready to withdraw today itself, right? So such a type of quality based service, by keeping on the users reliance or by keeping on the customer's satisfaction, the services can be enhanced. Services can be designed also in that way by the usage of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. That's what they are containing. They are talking about returns predictable results. That's the ultimate idea. If it is ready to predict exactly that, such type of services, especially where the vital role will be there, finance, health. So in that places, for example, you are having a good service in your the tidbits that what you are having in your hand. So it is ready to predict before 3 hours you may get a simple cardiac attack by this time. You're ready to move for the hospital before the time itself, right? So people will go for an immediate CT and they will convey that yes, there is a block, that we can go for angio as early as possible before that attack is going to come you, right? So that's also a quality service that you could able to bend. So services can be designed not only for any particular environment, for all the environments that daily people are operating, that can be implemented as a service. That is what people are ready to drive, and the entire world is moving over on that. Okay, so that's the point I want to stress it upon regarding the term service. Okay, so pertaining to programmers point of view, how these services must be implemented. So for that, the company or the enterprise that people are working over on that, their infrastructure should be in a lenient way such that programmer should ready to work over on that. Okay, so for theory point of view, no matter doesn't. So how about the service would be, but practically when it is going to be available in the market, how good it is being implemented without any errors, without any exceptions. Services will not throw exceptions, right? It is completely tested. Please remember that services will not throw exceptions at any case. Okay, web services will not throw exceptions at any case because it will be completely tested. Exception handling could be available as a module in all the services, so it will manage. Okay, it will manage. It will give you the correct context. Okay, you are going to make a payment through Google Pay. Swiggy had requested towards you. You are ready to pay, right? The service available in your GPay is ready to deduct amount from your bank and it is ready to credit to GPay via your UPI ID. So in that case, some sort of transaction is going to fail, but any one of the stakeholder involved in this, for example, Google Pay have identified that connection of user is slow, but balance is available in it. So what they will give you, they will give you the term processing. Amount will be debited from your bank account. Okay, processing. We will inform you when the process is over. Likewise, you will get a proper message from the service itself. Okay, so that's the practical implementation of the corresponding service. Okay, so by that, I will stop today. Still, we have to travel. So this is what we have discussed. What about types of software architectures? So two styles we have seen: object oriented and resource oriented. So they are parametric, they are object based. Communications happening by pass by reference. Their communication happening by message passing. In both of the places we have the pitfalls. To overcome that only a complete service based environment was introduced, right? That's what we have seen. What are all the issues in 2-tier architecture, 3-tier architecture, and the n-tier architecture to converge from that legacy systems to service based systems? We are learning this. Okay, so that's the idea. Still, if you have any clarifications, you can post it in the chat box. I am ready to answer.